Alright, I knew it was only a matter of time before I had to make this video, so let's just go ahead and get it over with. I'm going to request now that you all stay till the end of the video because I may or may not ask you questions that you'll need to answer in the comments for me. We'll see. But anyway, there are two things that will take place in this video. The first thing is going to be regular updates of what I plan on reading within the next couple of months. There's no exact timeline, but you'll just know what's up next. And then the next topic number 2, is going to be book series that I will not be reading on my channel at all, ever. And then / books that I'm not planning on reading and we'll discuss further. So that's really what I need you to stay for. Topic number 1, what is in the works for the next couple of months? So everyone knows, hopefully, that we are currently on Stars of Chaos, Chapeau Lang, Volume 5, the very last one. And that is approximately, I have that slated out for me to end like March 1st or March the 3rd, maybe. I'm busy doing a lot of things, so I can't read as much as I did before when I read Thousand Autumns, but I can still read. Also, I just like to read without having to speak out loud too, so I'm trying to do that as well. And we just started the Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish Volume 1, so that will probably be over the course of 2 months. We'll see how that goes. Right now, Stars of Chaos is taking precedence, given that we've been through that and we're on the final volume, so you'll still see more videos of this until it's finished. Then it'll be just this. I really prefer to read just one book at a time so that all of my attention can be dedicated to doing videos for you guys rather than trying to balance between two. Anyway, because of a promise I made, that's why we're still going through with it. So after we finish the Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish, I am thinking of either reading another Mengxi Shi, being Peerless, or reading Guardian by Priest. And the reason I am teeter-tottering between these two is, number one, Mengxi Shi is just really one of my favorites because I adored Thousand Autumns, and I really want to read Peerless, but only, soon in March, or by the time we're, going through this, only 3 of the 5 books will be released, which means I'll have no choice but to go to something else. But that really doesn't matter because there are a lot of books that are still not done. Anyway, and then I thought about doing Guardian just for the simple fact that it is complete. So you guys can actually put in the comments if after the Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish, you would rather me start on Peerless or Guardian. And we'll just go from there. I may even do another poll because I'm not sure what I want to do next either. So that is what's happening for the next couple of months. We're finishing up Stars of Chaos. We're going to read Beloved Pet Fish, and then we'll choose between these. So you guys let me know. So now let's get into part 2 of this video, starting with section A, books that will never ever be read on my channel. And I will tell you why. We're just gonna come up to this shelf right here, and that's gonna be all of MXTX's books. We're not reading any Mo Xiang Tong Xiu, and I'm going to tell you why. The very first Dan Mei series that I read was Mo Dao Zu Shi. And not only did I read it, I read it again, I watched The Untamed 3 times, the Donghua twice, and read the manhua once. So, as I'm sure you guys can imagine, I'm burned out on that, okay? I don't want to touch it anymore. It will not be touched. Okay, I just touched it, and that's the final time, unless I rearrange my shelf. And then we have 人家反派自居系统, Scum Villain. So, I read that as well, and then late last year, I reread it with a friend. So that is still very fresh on my mind. I do not ever plan on reading that on my channel. However, and I can recommend the video in the comments or the YouTube channel, there is someone who did the audio reading of this, and she does amazing. So I recommend you checking her out because I listened to her as well. Now, we have Tianguan Sifu, or Heaven Official's Blessing. Though this one holds a special place in my heart, if you couldn't tell just a little bit, I read it already, and no, I did not reread it, but I have watched the Donghua twice, at least the seasons that are out, and I fanficked the hell out of this. So much like Mo Dao Zu Shi, I am burnt out of this because I, for 6 months, even though I was still reading other things, I was on this heavy, reading fanfic every single day. So that's just not in the works, okay? And I've even listened to a little bit of the Chinese audio drama of that, as well as Mo Zhao Zushu. So then other books that I am not going to be reading on my channel, The Husky and His White Cat Shutsun, ERHA Hetai de Bai Mao Shutsun. And the reason is, number one, I've already read it, but I am currently rereading it, and I am on volume 7, or I'm about to be on volume 7. So to me, I'm not going to start reading it at volume 7 on my channel, but I'm also, while rereading, not going to go back from what I've just reread to read it a third time for you guys. So no ERHA for you guys. So sorry. There are people I know on YouTube that are reading it. So that pretty much brings us to the final part. Topic 2, section B. And that is Danmei, that I do not plan on reading my channel, but it's up for discussion. We can talk about this. I don't know. I'm just really iffy about this, you guys. And that is going to be anything containing smut. I've had people request I read Remnants of Filth, and someone just requested I read Ballad of Sword and Wine. And I know that there's smut in these. And you guys, obviously, I bought these books, so I have zero problem with smut. But the thing is, number one, I want to make sure that everything I read stays within the guidelines of YouTube's policies when it comes to sexually explicit content. So is there video footage of this? No, there's not. But there's sexually explicit content. And I know that there are other authors that not authors, but readers that I've come across on YouTube who read these, and what they do is they change up the words a little bit. So like, instead of saying, you know, the ratchet way, I'm gonna call it, of saying penis, you know, that's in the book, the C word, they'll change it to length or shaft or something like that, and alter the sentences so that it seems more appropriate for the channel, so that they don't get demonetized, removed, and all of that stuff. And this is where I'm kind of asking you guys how you feel, but also, you know, it does take more work on my part. I am not the kind of person that likes to do that. I want to read what is authentically within the book. If it says, I'm sure I can say it just once, at least. If it says cock, I want to say that. You know, if it says other explicit things, I want to say that without having to worry about if the books will be removed or not. So I'm still looking into that as far as YouTube is concerned. But if you guys don't care about that and don't mind the words being changed around, we can think about it. We can discuss it, maybe. But here's the other reason why I'm very reluctant to read anything with smut. If you have listened to my readings of Thousand Autumns, Stars of Chaos, and now The Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish, you all know that I do not just read like I am some electronic bot or something like that. Or I do not read like I'm dull and bored and I'm just trying to get through the book so that you guys can have someone to listen to or whatever. I read with animation, okay? With expressive intent. Imagine me reading smut scenes with expressive intent. Oh my gosh, that just sounds so cringe in my head. Like, obviously, if there's moaning and groaning and stuff like that, not to say I'm going to be like moaning, but you know, just like throughout in the background or something, but there are literal words of moans put in there, you know, like A, H, H, H and stuff, and M, M, M and stuff. But even just the things the characters say while they're having sex, I'm not going to say it in a robot fashion or just regular. I would say it with emotion, and that just feels so weird to me. So I don't know if I want to do that. The other option is I can read these series and just, I don't know, skip the sexually explicit scenes. So when it gets to that point, you know, on the video, I can just say, now we're skipping past the scenes. If you have the book, it's from pages this to this, you can read it, and then just resume reading to what happens after that if you all want. Just, you guys can be creative in the comments as far as what you want to see from me, possibly if I read books with smut. But that's really just my biggest problem, is making sure I do still stay within YouTube guidelines, and then also just not really wanting to read the smut because I'm an expressive person when I read, because I want it to be for your pleasure. And I don't know how I feel about people getting pleasure out of me reading sex scenes. And I don't mean sexual pleasure, although there are probably people that might get that too, but I just mean like you enjoy listening to me read sex scenes. I've never done audio erotica and stuff like that before, so you know, I'm just not sure. Anyway, if you have stayed this long, you have heard my requests for things for you to say into the comments. So please go ahead and speak to your heart's desire. And I always try to comment on you guys' things if you're requesting something from me, or even if I don't comment, I still like to engage by giving a heart or a like. All right, we are done, you guys. And also, if you know what this book is, then you're a real trooper. Okay. Anyway, well, Eineman, and I'll see you next time in just a regular recording of a couple chapters, probably of the Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish. Bye-bye.